Published, 17:38 Eastern Daylight Saving Time, the 14th of April 2018. Updated, 5:06 Eastern Daylight Saving Time, the 15th of April 2018. Andy Murray is not long returned from the south of France, where he had his first serious sessions on the practice court, taking the long road to his hoped-for comeback next month. This week, just along the coast from Murray's base of the Mouratoglou Academy in Nice, his direct contemporary and longtime rival Novak Djokovic plays the Monte Carlo Open, which raises the curtain on the European summer of tennis. Getting back to somewhere near their best is proving a pain journey for these two champions born a week apart, their careers synchronizing yet again. Novak Djokovic finds himself looking for answers as he heads to the European tennis season with departed last summer's Wimbledon injured, and both substantially delayed having surgery to try and cure their respective hip and elbow problems before undergoing operations within a month of each other. And in the midst of this, both have lost their part-time super coaches, Ivan Lendl and Andre Agassi. In both cases, there appear to have been disagreements about the best way to approach the tricky question of dealing with career-threatening injuries. While the lesser-spotted Lendl and Murray kept things relatively cordial in PR terms when parting in November, there was evident rancor in the recent split between Agassi and Djokovic. It looked like there was an element of the American wanting to get his retaliation in first. The Serb was holidaying with his family in the Dominican Republic after his early exit from the Miami Open when Agassi used his close confidant and former coach Darren Cahill, a commentator with ESPN, as a conduit for his resignation. Note, "We far too often found ourselves agreeing to disagree," stated Agassi, straying from the usual pleasantries that accompany these occasions. Not until 5 days later did Djokovic respond, announcing his second support team clear-out within a year. Former Czech player Radek Stepanek was on his way just 4 months after being appointed to a more full-time role. After the statement fulsomely thanked the Czech, there was a terse. The cooperation between Novak and Andre Agassi has also ended. Stepanek's departure coincides with the news that his partner, former top 10 player Nicole Vidasova, is expecting their child this summer. The two of them were once married, but divorced in 2013. The former world number one has seriously struggled since returning from a run of serious injuries. He has parted ways with coach Andre Agassi after agreeing to disagree. Far too often, as for Agassi, neither he nor Djokovic have expanded on the reasons behind their schism. Certain factors have, though, emerged in the wake of the player's fourth-round exits at the Australian Open and alarmingly wayward defeats in his opening matches at Indian Wells and Miami. Agassi counseled him against rushing back in the Californian desert so soon after his surgery at the start of February. He is also, like his high-profile predecessor Boris Becker, said to have been concerned about Djokovic's obsessive dietary habits, and wanted him to add some bulk to his wiry frame. Goran Ivanisevic, another of the star coach brigade, made an interesting contribution to the debate on Djokovic's issues, telling Montenegro publication Vijasti that the former world number one was using a lighter racket to ease pressure on his elbow. Never an easy switch. The player has not confirmed this. Agassi also raised eyebrows at Djokovic's preoccupation with leading his fellow players in a drive to establish a players' union, which is ongoing. Sportsmail revealed in January that on the eve of the Australian Open, Djokovic's comeback event, an extraordinary annual player meeting took place, during which he asked senior ATP officials to leave while he addressed his peers about the need to properly unionize. Djokovic has not been a genuine Grand Slam contender since crashing out at Wimbledon 2017. He walked off of center court with an injury that appears to be still impeding him today. More details emerge about what happened that night and the extent of the preparatory work Djokovic had put into the project. Agassi, who knows the focus required to win in Melbourne as he claimed 4 titles there, could not have been comfortable with such a major distraction on his player's mind so close to the tournament. While Djokovic denied that he brought in an actual lawyer to address the room, several sources, including an eyewitness who is a highly respected figure within the game, say that the players were spoken to by a female law professor, while there was also a lawyer present via video link. The law professor was identified by the eyewitness, as well as other sources, as leading academic Shema Crystal, from Sydney University. While suggestions of player boycotts have been played down, she happens to be the author of a book entitled The Right to Strike in Australia. She has not responded to several requests for comment. Cahill suggested that Djokovic might not have been fully invested in their coaching arrangement, although the player could counter-argue that the sporadic nature of their 10-month partnership hardly constituted a huge commitment from the Las Vegan either. Agassi did not even ask for payment, odd behavior for someone who famously claimed he hated tennis, fitting much of his short-lived coaching work in around sponsor commitments. In fact, a wider theme has emerged from the superstar coach trend begun by Murray's hiring of Lendl, namely their tendency to make an impact when all is going well, but not to be around too much to pick up the pieces when things get broken. Yet it would still be a fool who bets against Djokovic rediscovering his golden touch. It should be pointed out that many players agree with Djokovic's campaign. He asserts that, under the structure of the ATP Tour, male professionals lack a coherent voice to purely represent their interests in pressing for prize money increases and welfare issues. And, fabulously wealthy already, it could not be said he needs the extra cash himself. Last seen, he cut a devastated figure following his defeat to Benoit Paire in Miami. The media have become used to him giving long, rambling answers to questions, but when asked whether it was confusing, disorienting to be in his current predicament, he simply replied, with a hint of existentialism, "It just is." Since then he looks to have gone back to basics by requesting the help of the Loki coach who was integral to his greatest triumphs, Marian Vita. He was an integral part of Djokovic's greatest triumphs, which included the incredible feat of holding all 4 Grand Slam titles at once. Vita, who was only cleared out with Djokovic's physio and fitness trainer last May, is back for Monte Carlo, but the arrangement is only temporary for now. His player faces an awkward draw there, a qualifier in the first round and then a potential early meeting with Rafael Nadal. The Serb looked perfectly cheerful yesterday as he took part in a charity event that included, slightly incongruously, Andrew Flintoff and Jamie Redknapp. As with Murray, it would be very foolish to underestimate Djokovic's chances of revival at this point. If either of them gets fully fit and regains confidence, they should still be superior to the challengers who have failed, almost embarrassingly, to make life more difficult for the aging Nadal and Roger Federer. With the sun coming up on the European season in its Monaco playground, how the two 30-year-olds fare may be the most fascinating narrative of the summer.